This presentation will cover Google Scholar, what it is, how to add Macomb's library to the search, and how to generally use it. So to start, Google Scholar is a search engine, but unlike regular Google, it's not going out to the entire internet. It's only looking for scholarly articles. So it's looking for academic journals and databases. It's looking for books that are academic research books. This can be really helpful because it's cutting through all the extra work that you have to do for looking at online resources like the CRAP test. When using Google Scholar, you want to put in keywords and not full sentences and questions to get the best results. So if I wanted to look up information on digital reading, how students read when they are reading online versus when they're reading textbooks, instead of asking a question like, how do students read online, I would want to pick out a few of the key terms that I want to search for. So something like digital reading students, and hit search. What you'll see at this point is a list of articles. You will not necessarily have access to all of these. Some of them are available online for free through whatever website, or they're on some sort of a journal site that is open access. And some of them you will see there's nothing next to this one. This means we don't have access. So this is not a free resource. Anything with a PDF here, you have access to. Anything without a PDF here, you do not have access to. I recommend that you click on this side to access the article, not over here, because what will happen is if I click on this here that I don't have access to, you'll see that I'll get the abstract here, but I have no way of getting into the actual article, I believe. Nope, see, yeah, it's behind a paywall, so I won't be able to access this. So if you get in the habit of clicking the links on the right, that'll mean those are the ones that are available. Or this one, if I click on this, it will take me to a page that has the option to download the entire PDF. Now, one additional thing that we can do here, though, is link this to Macomb's library. Since some of these are behind paywalls, if the library at Macomb subscribes to the databases or the journals in those databases that article is in, you will still be able to get access to it through Google Scholar. So to do that, at any point of the page that you're in with Google Scholar, you can be on the last page or this page. You're going to see the little hamburger up here, the 3 lines. You click on that, go to settings, then you'll see library links. Click on that, and you're going to type in Macomb Community College and click search. You should then see Macomb Community College show up here. You're going to click that little box and click save. Now, when I go back and do this same search, this one that we couldn't access through Wiley Online Library before now says view it at MCC. So I'm going to click on this. Wait for it to load. Okay, now what you can see here is instead of taking it to the page that was showing the paywall before, you see the Macomb logo up here. It linked us straight through our library. So it may ask you to log in. I think I've probably logged in recently enough that it's not asking me to log back into Macomb, but if you're off campus, it may ask you to do that. So now I can click full text available, and it's going to show me where we have these available. So I'm going to click on JSTOR here. And here we go. Here's the full resource. So I can view it online here, or I can download the PDF, accept it. And now I have the full PDF. There will be another presentation on annotating your PDFs, saving your PDFs, how to kind of handle the research that you're doing. So make sure to keep an eye out for that as well. But this presentation, we're not going to go into all of that. This is just how to get to the access through Google Scholar. One thing I do want to point out with Google Scholar is that sometimes it will say view at Macomb and it won't load. That will happen if the information is out of date. Like, say last year Macomb subscribed to that journal and this year that not enough students were using it, so they decided to drop it. You may get out of date information occasionally, but most of the time if it says view it at MCC, it's going to go straight through to the library. You will be able to access the research. So you can get anything that we have through Macomb. You can also get directly through the library databases. Google Scholar just gives you another way to search. And it tends to, if you're struggling with your search terms, it tends to correct them a little bit better because it's using, Google's long history of search terms and how to search through things to find stuff. So you're getting the benefits of a Google search whilst at the same time you're getting the benefits of just looking through library databases and journals. So you're not having to weed out all of the non-scholarly sources like you do on the internet. Okay, a couple other things I want to point out in Google Scholar. You can refine your search on the left. You want to make sure that things are relatively current for your field. So if I'm looking at something for digital reading, I'm not really interested in research that's coming from the 80s. Even some of the late 90s, early 2000s might be a little outdated because we have different devices now. Like iPads didn't even exist in the early 2000s. So there might be different types of research being done more recently. So I could either do really recent, since 2016. I would say I'm going to probably choose for this particular topic since 2010, and then it would get rid of any of the early stuff that I don't want. You can also include patents and citations. That's not stuff that I need. You don't really have to uncheck these unless they're showing up a ton for you. But this will give me, now I've got some really nice, sources here that look effective. Couple of things to note, if you are finding, say you find one really good article and you're not finding a whole lot of other ones, you can use this related article link here. And that will take you to articles related to the one article that you find. So it might be that your search terms weren't quite right, but that's something just to know that you can use. When you are doing research, one of the habits that a lot of us have to break is that, unlike with a normal Google search, we do not want to stay on this front page. When we are normally searching Google, often we won't go past the second or third page of search results. With research, you need to be willing to dig deep to find what you're looking for. Now, if the first 3 pages are all not at all what you're looking for, then you really need to reconsider your search terms because something about the way that you're searching is not working. However, if you're finding a few results per page, that's pretty good. So be willing to go deeper into further pages to find what you're looking for. For research, you're not just looking for one source to tell you something. You need to gather a lot of sources to start seeing trends in the research. Just like with doing observations, how you have to do hours and hours of observations to witness trends. Otherwise, you don't know if what you're seeing is a one-off. Same thing goes for research. You want to see multiple studies or multiple articles that are looking at the same issue. You want to see multiple people agreeing with each other. You want to see some disagreement. You want to see the full conversation of the topic. So be willing to look through multiple pages here. You don't have to read every article fully. We'll look at that more as well in the, how to do your research, read your research, organize your research. But you do need to make sure that you're finding enough sources that are actually usable. So if you read something and you start reading the abstract and you're like, no, this is not helpful, then move on. But you are going to have to read probably 2 to 3 times as many abstracts as articles as you're actually going to be able to use in your paper. Okay, couple more things in Google Scholar specifically. Along with related articles, we've got the cited by 19. That means 119. 119 other articles used this same resource. If you click on that, it'll show articles that use that as a citation. So sometimes that can also help you find additional sources. And then finally, this quote symbol right here, if you click on that, will give you your entire APA citation. So as you organize your research and you keep track of what you're doing, I highly recommend you copy this right out. Add it as a note in your, add it to a notebook or a Word doc if you're keeping your track of your research that way. Add it as an annotation directly on your PDF if you're keeping track of your research that way. Whatever way helps, but this way you're not having to go back and try to find this information later. You've got it all right here. Always double check your citations. Occasionally Google's citation is not correct, so you want to make sure that it looks right. So you do need to understand enough about APA to recognize, okay, it looks like it's got all the necessary information there. If it's really short, you're going to want to double check that because it's probably missing some information. Okay, so that's the basics. If you're logged into Google, you can also star things to save them for later, and they'll save into your library. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. I highly recommend that you try this out as one of your resources for doing research. It can really cut down on the frustration.